Thank you.
Happy to share this with you. Um, so each week, I go into the sanctuary, of course, when no one else is there, so that I can be adequately social distanced. And I do a simple recording of the prelude and postlude. So I set up my computer or my phone because it's amazing how much gadgetry is in our own devices. And in starting this week, I've been able to also use a USB mic, which looks a little like this, um, which I can just plug into my computer. It doesn't require the usual sort of complicated recording equipment. Um, and I simply plug it in, and I'm able to record directly into a program that allows me to edit the sound and edit the video. So to edit the sound, I usually use GarageBand, which is an application that's usually found on Macs. And to edit the video, I either use iMovie, which is also found on Macs, or Adobe Premiere, which is a fancier software. So it's pretty straightforward to do this when it's just one person, but when we're trying to coordinate people from the parish choir and from convivium to all sing together at the same time, it may look miraculous on the screen, but it's actually just a lot of editing. Um, it's a little intense. So the first problem we have to solve in order for a virtual choir to exist is to get everyone singing exactly in sync at the same time. Because if they just sing, no matter how good everyone thinks their own sense of pitch or tempo is, um, we will mess up. And so in order for it to be perfectly aligned, there has to be kind of backing track for everyone to sing to. So what happens is that I record a recording track, which means that I record the piano part and then I record everyone's vocal part. And then I dump it into GarageBand, into the audio editing software, and I make 4 different tracks, one for each part, so that the sopranos can hear the piano part and all of the other parts, but their own part that they're supposed to be singing is turned up. So, so that they hear that focused. So I make one for the sopranos, one for the altos, one for the tenors, and one for the basses. And since they're all based off the same piano track, it means everything will be lined up. So then I send it out to the parish choir, who have gotten incredibly good at navigating all the technology that has to happen for this to happen. Isn't that right, choir? So they actually have to listen to their track through headphones, and then sing along to it while filming themselves. So there are some great videos and as well some great bloopers of people trying to prop up their phone on a bookshelf and it falls down halfway through the song, or whatever. Um, or some coughs, or a cat purrs, or I guess the doorbell doesn't really ring anymore, but the laundry beeps or whatever. And then you have to do it again. But so that means that their video, they're actually listening to me sing with them so that it's all lined up. Um, but then the video just has their voice. You're not hearing the backing track yourself because they're listening to it through headphones. So then all of the videos get sent to me. And then the fun part begins where I get to edit all of this together, which usually starts about 5 o'clock on Saturdays because that's when people have completed all their videos. Sometimes it's 8 o'clock, depending on when the videos get finished. And I'm going to share my screen with you now and show you what goes into that. Okay, so you can now see my screen, I hope. And I'm going to show you GarageBand, where did it go? Here we go. So this is the offertory anthem for today, Draw the Circle Wide. I sure hope it's going to open. There we go. So this is what it looks like when I'm trying to put together all of the music. So thankfully, someone has created a template with all of these sort of tracks on it and with them already somewhat balanced. So reverb has been added and so on. So you can see there's a piano track right at the top, and then I have to put everyone's parts in and line them up. So I'm going to demonstrate what that looks like for you. So I'm going to remove, oops, nope, that was not what I wanted. I'm going to delete Loretta's track and add her back in. So I have to go locate. I export the audio from the video. So I will go to my little folder that has draw the circle wide, find Loretta's audio file, and then I just get to drag it in here. Okay. And now I have to figure out how to line it up exactly. So I scan along her track until I see where she starts singing, which is right here. You can see her little waveforms. So I'm going to cut the track there and delete all the extra stuff, and then I scooch it over and try to line it up with everybody else. So let's see how I'm doing. I'm just going to play the piano track and Loretta's track and see if I lined it up correctly. Okay. So obviously I didn't get it quite right. I need to scooch it over, and because she's coming in late, I'm going to line it up here, and thankfully I've already put everybody else in, so it should be pretty easy to line that up. Let's try it again.
Eric, I'm not hearing that play.
You're not hearing it play? Okay. I have share audio with you, but for some reason it may not be working.
You've been muting your audio on your computer.
Okay, let's try again. Can you hear it now?
Yes.
Yes? Okay, great. Interesting. Because I actually mute myself, I mute my audio while I play like the postlude, for example, but that doesn't seem to change it. But now, Loretta's too early, so I'm going to scooch it one more time and see if it works. Oh, still a little early. Still early. And still early. So this does take a lot of finicking, but then we can add in all the parts and hopefully it works. Okay. So I got close, but no cigar. That's how I line up the audio, and then I open a different program called Adobe Premiere, and that's where I have to line up everybody's video. So here we are. You can see on the left, I've imported all the videos. I've shrunk them in size a little bit to make this easier. Down here is a timeline where I have to line everyone up. And I have to do this by listening to their audio and also to see if their mouth is moving at the right time. And then up at the top is where I add in the videos, and they hopefully show up at some point. It's not playing back very well because Zoom is eating too much of my memory. But what I have to do here is I drag the video over from the side into the track. I make sure their mouth is opening at the right time, and then I drag the videos and layer them on top of each other. So that is, and then at the very end I export it, which usually takes about half an hour, into a movie that you all can watch. So that is that is how all of these virtual choirs get made every week. When I do one that's a multi-track of myself, then I obviously just record myself several times during this process. That is a little tricky. The first time, if the piece is a cappella, I put on a drone in the background so I make sure I'm not going off pitch and will pose problems for future versions of myself that are trying to record over that track.
So Eric, if I were doing this, I would spend approximately like 47 hours at the end trying to like get every second like next to each other. How do you know when it's like, this is good enough? This is like, we're close.
Well, often it's when I'm tired, when it's midnight on Saturday. And
Is it when you click play for us at work?
no, it's a matter of I was talking to a colleague about this, and she said, Eric, we're not trying to win a Grammy here. We're just trying to create something that is meaningful and that we can share and that gives us the power of singing together. Now, let me tell you, on my first video, I was very frustrated because I had to learn all of the new softwares. But then as I stacked in voice by voice on Praise His Holy Name, it was just such a wonderful experience because I haven't heard my choir sing in weeks. And so suddenly to hear like Marie and Loretta and Paul and every single person singing one by one and then gradually hearing the choir come together, it was really a magical experience. It's very different because normally you show up to a choir and everyone is just singing, and now choir has become something where we all do it on our own in our homes, but then we get to create it bit by bit by bit by bit. And I know everyone's voice and exactly how wide they open their mouth much better now than I ever did before.
Awesome. Do you want to take any like 2 or 3 questions if anybody has a question before we go into breakout rooms? And then if we don't get to your question, you can email it to us and we'll find a way to provide a response. But if anybody has a question, maybe you could raise your hand and we'll unmute you. We're just awestruck, Eric. Oh, Fritz has a question.
I know that Ethan was using MIDI to record the organ. Have you found that useful in your work also?
So the MIDI is actually something a little bit different. It depends. What it is capturing is not sound, the MIDI. So there's a recorder that is with our organ that Ethan would record things on. What it's capturing is not the sound, but the electrical sort of innards of the organ and all the sort of on and off signals. So you can record that and then the organ will play itself back. It will know I need to play a C, or I need to open the C on the oboe stop at exactly this moment. So it's really just remembering all of those little things. So I haven't been using that. I could, I suppose, use it and then Claire could push play on the organ on Sunday and then the organ would play itself.
I hear an idea coming on for a feast. Anyone else have a question for Eric? I see some comments that Eric does deserve a Grammy. It's clearly true. Okay, well, if you have questions that come to you in the next few days, feel free to reach out to us. We can find either a way for Eric to respond next week, or maybe we can do a little funny video to respond as well. Thank you, Eric. Not as I'm sure you all are aware, not every music director is doing this right now, and it is such a gift. It just makes our services so rich and so much more vibrant. So thank you. I love it. We are so grateful.
Thank you all. It's such a huge gift to see you singing. Even though I can't hear you, to know that you are singing a hymn along with Harish and Loretta and I on these Sunday mornings is just a real gift. So thank you.
Thank you. I'm going to pass it over to Julie, who's going to help us get